Hey folks, this is Suzy Meadows. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Central Indiana. And today I want to go through this paper pumpkin. This is the Bouquet of Hope. It's the February 2021 paper pumpkin. If you aren't familiar with paper pumpkin, it's a monthly craft kit. It's a subscription that comes to your mailbox each month. And this particular kit makes 9 cards, 3 of each design, and everything that needed to make these cards is in the kit. The only thing you might want is a pair of scissors to cut the ribbon, but otherwise everything is here that you need. Well, I like to challenge myself of what other things I can make. So I'm going to show you some alternative projects. But just to show you really quick what's in the kit, I've already been digging into mine. Of course, there's a stamp set, and I'll be using that stamp set. You have an ink spot, Mossy Meadow, and we have some vellum with gold foil. We have some gold foil labels or art pieces. You have these pretty black rhinestones. You have these are die cuts, and you just punch out. You can see I've already punched one out, and these others would punch out. And this time, it's thinking of you. And so these are stickers, and also in German and French, because Stampin' Up! is an international company, and so they make products in at least 2 other languages. And of course, you've got your card bases. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started really quick here. Let me move these out of the way. And the card I want to start with is this one right here. And this card, everything to make this card, all the supplies are in the kit. I've just used things a little bit differently. So let me get everything over. So see, here is the punch out of their flowers. Here, these are the labels. And when I looked at this label, when I looked at it, to me, it looked like a flower vase. Those of you that know me, I'm a gardener. Pardon me. And so I raise a lot of perennials. And so in the summer, I am cutting a lot of perennials and bringing them in. And so I have a lot of vases. So my mind automatically goes flowers, vases. Yeah. Okay. So, and then this is the card base, but you've seen me. I like to chop these up and use them in different methods. And that way it actually makes the kit go a lot further. And so this is actually just a panel for this. And let me bring my trimmer, and we will go ahead and cut that right now, because I'm going to put it, pardon me, I'm going to put it on a white card base. So I'm just needing, it's going to be a 4-inch by 5 1/4, and 5, there's 5, oops, get it up over the bridge, and 5 1/4. There we go, perfect. Okay, get this out of the way. So that is our card front. Let me bring this over, and here's our card base, normal card base. And so see, it's just going to go right there. Okay, now I want to show you how I colored this vase. I chose to use Bumblebee is what that color is. And of course, I didn't get the ink out, so I just happened to have it right in front of me. So we will, and there's a couple ways to color that. We'll work on this one right here. You can use watercolor. You can use aqua paint, a watercolor, and do that. You can use a sponge dauber, or you can use a blending brush. And I've used both of them. Now the blending brushes, they're on back order right now, but the sponge daubers aren't. So I thought I might show you both of them here. This is just a little window sheet that I like to put under it in case I get really messy and get outside the paper. And so sponge dauber, just put it on my finger, and I like to move it around a little bit and just bring it on like that. There you go. Now you see where I first put it down? You see how dark that is? That's why I start off. And so that way I don't have a dark circle right in there. Now let me show you with that's what it looks like with a sponge dauber. So the blending brush. Once again, when you first put it down, it's going to have a whole bunch of ink. So that's what's really nice about this plastic window sheet is I can start it there and sort of get it spread out. And then I'm just going in a circular motion. There you go. And I can always come back here and get some more ink and come back again. There we go. I see I'm moving your world a little bit. So let me bring these closer. Can you really tell a difference? If you didn't know where I started, it would look the same. This is the blending brush and this is the sponge dauber. And the key thing is for both of them is to make sure you start off your image and then come in. And you do a little bit at a time. It's better to add a little bit of ink at a time rather than a whole bunch all at once. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. Now, I'm not going to put this card together for you because it's pretty straightforward. I showed you where I came up with the panel back behind. And then I just literally glued this on here. And and with this this comes in the kit. I didn't show you that. This is the Mossy Meadow linen thread that comes with it. And I just tied a bow. And I'll always be here for you is actually one of the stamps. I've got it because I initially was going to make it. Then I decided, it's pretty straightforward. I think you guys can figure that out. So let me show you some of the other cards, though. Get this out of the way. I don't want to get ink everywhere. But this is the tip. I wanted to show you a couple different ways of how to add ink to your images. And so, instead of that being a label, it's a vase. So there you go. Okay, let me show you this next card. This is using mostly items from the kit. I did add a few things. I started out with the card base. And I'm just moving things around here. Pardon me. Pardon me for the sniffles. Coughing and sniffles, just drainage, Okay, this is a very vanilla card base, but I don't know if you have ever used some of this shimmer white. I don't know, I don't know if you can see that, but it shimmers. And let me show. This is, and it's not white. Well, it is, but this is our basic white. This is our shimmer. This has pretty sparkle in there, whereas the white does not. So that's what I used for this one. So this is the card we're making. This is the vellum in the kit. And in the examples, they showed using it with the gold. Well, I was curious, what does it look like on the other side? It looks a little pearly. That's why I went with the shimmer white. Okay, so let me get things out here. Once again, I'm starting with the card base. And I'm going to cut it up. I want this one. Let me see. It's going to be, let me just do a little bit of trimming. This is actually going to be the mat below. And I'm not measuring, I'm just literally looking. Sometimes I like doing this. See, I need just a little bit more. You can measure, but sometimes I don't want to take the time to figure out exactly what measurement that would be. So sometimes I just trim and just see where I go. There we go. That's what I want right there. Okay, now let's go ahead and stamp our image. Now, I did bring in something new, something that's outside of the kit. I used a stamp set that I've already got, Painted Poppies. When I looked at this card base, these look like roses or poppies, but I thought I'd start with a poppy and see what it did. So this is a red cling. So let me get that out here. I should have had it on a block, but I didn't, so that's okay. So there we go. Okay. And I'm going to use Mary Merlot. First of all, I'm going to put my sentiment. This actually comes in the kit, this particular stamp set. So I'm going to stamp. Okay, I'm going to stamp this, my poppy, and I don't know that there's a bottom or a top, but I'm going to stamp it up here in the corner. There we go. And I'm going to do my sentiment. Now, these are photopolymers, so they need just a little bit of cushion. They don't have any cushion like that red rubber one did. So I'm just bringing in my a foam mat here. I've got it inked, and I want this off to the side right there. There we go, looking good. Close up my ink quickly so I don't get my finger in it. Okay. Now, I want to show you a way to put vellum on. One of the issues with vellum is if many of the adhesives, you can see the adhesive. And, well, let's go ahead and glue this down. And then we'll go to the vellum. So that way I can put the vellum right on top. I just use a little bit of my multi-purpose liquid glue. And I'm centering it. Okay, that can go to the side. Okay, here's my vellum. Okay, I know I'm going to go ahead and put this on the middle. And then I'll show you how to put the vellum on. Okay. And all I'm doing is centering this about approximately where I think the center is. There we go. Okay, flip it over because I don't want to, in case the ink was wet, I don't want to smear the ink. Okay, now I can put all kinds of adhesive there and you aren't going to see it. But if I put a lot of it here on the sides, you would. So one of the things I do, I have a sponge. And I have just put a paper clip on it. They actually come in a big circle. Do I have any? Well, here's one I've started cutting. And I just cut pieces out of it. These are in our annual catalog. But what I do is I put a little bit of liquid glue right on the corner. This is a silicone mat. Things do not stick to it. So that's why I use my silicone mat. And I come and I get that, because I want a thin layer. I don't want a lot of glue. I truly want a thin layer. Okay. Now, I want to do the other corner. So I'm remembering where I have glue, because it wouldn't be good to get the glue in the front. So there we go. Okay, now, so I have glue all around the edges, and once, like I said, you're not going to see if I put glue in here. So I'm going to put a little bit in there. Scoot this over. Let's bring our card back over. Make sure what's up is going up. Okay, and we're going to just center it right there. Okay. Now, let's see. Oh, look at that. See, I can't pull up that vellum. That very thin layer of glue has stuck that down. So that is wonderful. So that was a trick I wanted to show you, a little tip on how to adhere vellum and not show. Now, I wanted to show you, here's one that I made earlier. Can you see that? If you look real closely, eagle eyes, you can see I had too much glue on there. And you can see it. It's not really distracting. I know it's there. but yet on this one, you don't see that anywhere, do you? Because I took my time and made sure it was a really thin layer of glue. And what I did for this bottom, I just cut a piece of, I don't have this cut, but I'm not going to take the time. You can see what I've done. I just cut a strip and I've popped it up, and that has finished my card. So there we go. But I wanted to show you that tip on how, and I just keep this in a plastic bag, and I keep reusing it. When it gets too nasty, I just throw it away. So, and here's the glue on the silicone. I'm just going to let it go to, I'm just going to put it on the side. And when it dries, I can, with my finger, I can just literally rub it off and it's clean. So there we go. So that was that tip. Now, one of the things that came in the kit was this little flyer that showed where this particular kit coordinates with the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. And right now, until the 28th of February, that paper is free if you have a purchase of $50. And you can see all the pretty paper there. And so I took advantage of that, and I made a card with the Designer Series paper. And this particular paper, I'm going to bring over a sheet that I've got cut up. I just had a front panel, and I cut it, and I put it on black, and on Bumblebee is actually the cardstock I used. And the other reverse side of this is the polka dot, and that's where I've got my, that middle line there. Now, this particular, if you look at these two different labels, I stuck with the Painted Poppy bundle. But instead of using the stamps this time, I used the coordinating dies, the painted label dies. This particular die does this black, I don't know, circly swish something. I don't know what it's called, but I sure like it. And this die did the white. And this Sorry for Your Loss is actually is the stamp set that comes with the kit. That is one of the stamps there. So, and what I did, I just had some scrap paper, and so I just cut out a couple flowers. And so there we go. That was an easy alternative. And I guess what I really used from the kit was the stamp, Sorry for Your Loss. Okay, I want to show you just a few others that I've created with alternatives using that same stamp, Sorry for Your Loss. This actual pink is a card base from the kit. And what I did here, I used some of my dies. I went into my stash and found the Ornate, what's it called? Ornate Borders. And I used this particular die right here. And what it did, look how that, it cut it out and isn't that pretty? Sticking with the Ornate bundle, this is the ribbon that comes with it. And then I also used the Ornate Floral embossing folder. And that's what I did on this particular die cut label. And these flowers are from the kit. So there you go. So that was another alternative. And then there's two others that I was going to show you. And I'm going to do a video later on how I put these together. But another one I used was this. This paper should be familiar. This is a card base. And what I took was the coordinating colors. And here I use a mask, some of our decorative masks, or you could call them stencils. We call them mask. And on this one, I used white craft ink, and I made it polka dots. And I did that because of these white dots in here. Now, like I said, these flowers, to me, I couldn't decide if they were poppies or roses. Well, I used the stamp set Beautiful Friendship. I thought that rose, I call it a rose. Maybe it's a peony. Whatever flower, I think it coordinates very well with that. And so I stamped those in Mary Merlot, the coordinating color, and I actually cut them out. That bow is actually part of the die cuts from the paper pumpkin. And I use this particular stamp set. And then this last one that I wanted to show is, here we go. This one, that should be familiar. That's a bouquet, a die cut from Paper Pumpkin. This is a card base from the Paper Pumpkin. And this pink is also from the Paper Pumpkin, but it's an envelope. And I cut the envelope down to get some of this pretty paper, pattern paper. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but can you see these polka dots? They're glittery. These, once again, I used the mask, but this time I used embossing paste. And like I said, I'm going to do another video on this and show you how I made this. But here's another alternative. So, I don't know. Let me see. We'll put them. Now, where shall I put them? Oh, I told you that I'm Suzy Meadows. If you're interested, if you don't have a demonstrator, by all means, catch up with me. This is my shopping site, or how you can email me, contact me. And I don't know, here, we'll put this one right here, and we'll put this one right there. There we go. So I guess I could pull them down a little bit, can't I? Woo-hoo-hoo. There you go. So gang, these are some of the alternatives. If, there's nothing wrong with using the kit exactly how it is. I just like to challenge myself and see what else I can come up with. And so I hope you picked up just a few little tips, whether it was coloring the vase, or I don't know, how to put vellum on without showing. Or maybe just some different ways you can use the envelope as your designer series paper. Go into your craft stash, see what other stamps and dies you have, and these are just some of the things you can come up with. So hey, enjoyed putting these together for you. Hope things are going well your way. Take care. Bye-bye.